Hey guys, Jessica here and welcome back to the channel for another Kindred Stamps video. Today I'm showing you the brand new stamp set, a Bit Spotted, which is part of the February 2019 release. I don't know if you have checked out the Kindred Stamps website lately, but they have been adding a lot of items to their line. So not only do you have the option of the stamp set, a Bit Spotted, but they've also included stickers in two different sizes, so you get a larger size and then the smaller sheet. The sequins, which is black and white, which is super fun, and this really cute bookmark, or you could use it as a planner page marker, which I think is what I'm going to be using mine for. So you probably saw a glimpse of this card I will be making on the thumbnail or in that picture in the very beginning. I'm first using Neenah 80-pound cardstock and a rounded rectangle die to create this panel for the stamps to be stamped on and then colored. I'm also using 3 different sizes of circle dies to add spots to this panel. Those spots will be where the sequins go, but this isn't going to be a shaker card, but it could be easily converted into a shaker card. I also use the same rounded rectangle die I used on the panel along with a smaller one and created a white fun foam frame. This makes it easy to add dimension that fits exactly to that panel. After stamping the images with Copic friendly ink, I like to use Juna K. I can start coloring. I have sped this up a bit. I'm going to color this the same as the stickers and keep to that black and white and red color scheme. I love that for these you don't need a wide variety of colors if you're going to stick with the black and white and red. I start with her dress and the red colors. Reds are notorious for bleeding, so I find it's easier to start with those if I can, or if I remember to. I use the darkest marker first, then blend with the mid to the lightest color. If an area is too small, like the purse she is holding, I tend to skip either the darkest or mid colors and use just 2 markers to color with. There's not a whole lot of room in some of those areas for a 3 color blend. And so this lady has one side of her hair black and the other is white. For the darker side I use C7 first and then blend out with a C5 and C3. If you wanted to, since the other side is white, you could just leave it blank, but I like to add some shadows to my white areas. I use C3 first and then blend out with the C1. And I also use a lot of the colorless blender when coloring these lighter areas because I don't have a C0 or a C00. So I use a colorless blender and instead of buying those groups of markers. And I use the same color combinations for her fur coat as I did for her hair. For her skin tone, I start with the E31. Coloring around the outer edge of her face, her eyebrows, and a little on her nose. Then blending out with a E51, which is kind of a pinker, lighter color. I normally use some light pink or red color for blush on characters' cheeks, but she has these amazing arched eyebrows, so I use it as eyeshadow, which matches her lipstick and her dress pretty well. And then I blend over that with the E51 again to tone it down a bit. Coloring the puppies is really quick and easy. I use the same color combinations as I did with the lady's hair and coat. The puppy on the right has a spot around his eye, and using the darkest marker on the outer edge and blending into that center of the spot with a lighter gray keeps the eye from completely disappearing. For the rest of the shading, I just follow the lines of the stamp. Anywhere that something overlaps, like a leg or an ear, I use a C3, then blend out with the C1 and colorless blender. If you're having problems with shadows, sometimes it's easier to start with a lighter color and build up until you find a good color combination you like. Now that the coloring is done, we can move on to the rest. Using the cute "You've Been Spotted Being Awesome" sentiment, I stamped that one onto a piece of red lipstick cardstock, which is a nice bright red. I'm using some clear embossing ink for this so that I can heat emboss the sentiment with white embossing powder. I just like the way that looks. This is just a scrap piece of cardstock. I'm going to cut it down to a strip so it's a little more even. But for now, I set that aside. So this is how I'm going to use the sequins from the Bit Spotted shaker pack. I trace the circles from the stamp panel onto a piece of black cardstock with a pencil. I'm going to use only the black bits from the shaker pack to cover the circles. So using the black cardstock as my backing makes this process a lot easier. That way you don't see any white showing through between the sequins. I'm also using multimedia matte glue, which is my favorite liquid glue, to adhere these sequins. The basics for this is I'm grabbing a sequin, dipping it into the glue, then placing it inside the circle. Then repeating until the circle is filled. I found it easier to use a poker tool along with the tweezers to place the sequins from the shaker pack. This took a long time, but I love the result. These black spots sparkle so well. Plus it's hard to tell, but not only do you get black sequin bits in this shaker pack, there are a more matted version too. I used both inside the circles, using the matte colored ones more sparingly. I let that dry really well and then tested it to make sure none of the sequin bits fell off. Luckily they were all glued down very well. It does look kind of funny, but this will be covered with that other panel. So using the white fun foam frame that I die cut earlier, I adhere that onto the back of the white panel with the stamping and the die cut circles, filling in some areas with strips of foam to give it more stability. Then I can adhere that over the black cardstock with the sequins. I found a scrap piece of black and white striped paper and adhered that to the top left corner of the Nina 110 pound solar white card base that I usually always use. These are pre-cut and scored. And then I adhere the panel with the characters and black sequins over the top. And then I add that sentiment that is white heat embossed onto that red lipstick cardstock. I've trimmed that down already, and I just adhere that down. While all that dries, I go ahead and stamp on the inside using the last two dog images. These two dogs are the adult versions of the puppies. They're super cute. The sentiment is also from the Bit Spotted stamp set and really makes this a cute and punny thank you card. And for a final touch, I adhere a few more of those matte black sequins and a few tiny Nouveau black dots using an embossing stylus to do that. This is such a cute stamp set, and I hope this gives you some ideas on how to use those shaker packs. Head on over to the Kindred Stamps website to see all of what they have to offer. Don't forget to join us at the Kindred Stamps Facebook fan page to see sneak peeks and other inspiration. There's always something fun going on there. And connect with me more on social media. Links are below. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one.